You don't need to worry about the wedding details, I've already decided everything. Her voice was calm, but I felt my chest tighten as I realized I was just a guest in my own life. I told her the wedding's off, then canceled everything behind her back. I never thought I'd find myself trapped in a relationship that once felt like a fairy tale. My name is Alex, and at 28, I'm staring down the barrel of a wedding I now dread. It's a strange sensation, being excited about marrying the person you love, while at the same time feeling suffocated by their expectations. Emma, my fiancée, was once my passionate partner, but over time she turned into someone I barely recognized, and I can't help but wonder, what happened to the girl who swept me off my feet? Something happened that made me rethink everything. When Emma and I first met, it felt electrifying. Our whirlwind romance was like something out of a movie. Late-night talks that stretched until dawn, spontaneous adventures that took us to hidden spots in the city, and that intoxicating feeling of being in love that made everything else fade into the background. I remember the first time she looked at me with those wide, hopeful eyes, as if I held the key to all her dreams. But looking back, I can see the warning signs, the love bombing that left me dizzy and breathless. "I just know we're meant to be together," she'd said, her voice bubbling with excitement. And honestly, I agreed without fully grasping the implications. The moment I realized something was wrong came unexpectedly, like a punch in the gut. I was sitting in the living room one afternoon, half-heartedly scrolling through my phone, when I overheard Emma chatting excitedly with her mother about wedding plans. "I can't wait to show off the venue," she gushed, her voice bright and carefree. It was then I felt the pit in my stomach drop. I wasn't part of the conversation. I was just an onlooker in my own life. The wedding was becoming her obsession, and I felt completely sidelined, pressured to conform to her vision of our future without a say in the matter. I had moved into Emma's house, a decision I made out of love and a desire to build a life together. But let's be real, I never fully agreed with buying a new place. While she envisioned a perfect home for our future, I felt the weight of my longer commute to work pressing down on me. Each day blurred into the next, and as I spent more time away from her, I felt more disconnected, from her, from the life we were building, and from myself. It was as if I was living in the background while she painted over my existence with her dreams, leaving me as a mere spectator in a story I once thought was ours. As the days went by, Emma began interrupting me during my hobbies, dismissing my interests as if they were trivial. "You can't fix that," she'd say, raising an eyebrow as I tried to repair the leaky faucet, despite my years of experience as an electrician. "Just let me handle it." Those little moments chipped away at my confidence, leaving me to wonder if I was really that incompetent. I started to question myself, wondering if I was the one who needed to change to fit into her perfect picture. I wanted to believe it was just pre-wedding stress. Maybe I was overreacting, but deep down, I felt the weight of her controlling behavior pressing down on me, leaving me to wonder if I was losing the best parts of myself for the sake of keeping the peace. I spent sleepless nights tossing and turning, grappling with the idea of confronting her. Should I speak up, or was I just being selfish for wanting my voice to matter in a relationship that was supposed to be a partnership? As the wedding date approached, the pressure intensified. Friends and family began asking about the plans, and each inquiry felt like a noose tightening around my neck. I wasn't ready for this. I was terrified of how Emma would react if I voiced my concerns. The thought of disappointing her, of shattering the illusion of our perfect fairy tale, made me hesitate. So here I am, pouring out my heart in this post, seeking advice from you all. I'm at a crossroads and I need help. Am I being unreasonable for wanting my opinion to matter? How do I navigate this without hurting her? I love Emma, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm trapped in a story I never wanted to write. So Reddit, AITA for wanting to call off the wedding before it's too late. Update 1. A lot of you told me to trust my gut, and I truly appreciate the support. Your comments really resonated with me, especially the ones about recognizing controlling behavior before it's too late. It's been a rough few days of reflection, and I've started to see things more clearly. I realize I need to take a step back and assess what's going on in my relationship with Emma. To give you more context about who I am, I grew up valuing independence and mutual respect in relationships. My parents always taught me that love should be about partnership, not possession. They celebrated individuality, teaching me that healthy relationships thrive on open communication and compromise. I see now that Emma's upbringing might have been different. I suspect she was raised in an environment where control and perfectionism were the norms. It makes sense why she's been acting the way she has, but it doesn't excuse her behavior. I've also been leaning on my best friend, Jamie, who has always been brutally honest with me. Jamie has shared some of their own relationship troubles, and it really helped me see I'm not alone in this. "You deserve to be heard, Alex," Jamie said during one of our late-night talks, their voice steady and reassuring. "If she can't respect your voice, is this really the life you want?" Those words hit me hard, echoing in my mind long after our conversation ended. I realized how much I need to stand up for myself, not just for me but for the sake of our relationship. As I've been doing this soul-searching, I've been reflecting on the wedding plans. It's crazy how everything has escalated in just 2.5 months. Vendors booked, family and friends invested, and these extravagant plans that feel more like a performance than a celebration of love. I've been weighing my options, trying to figure out if I should confront Emma about her controlling behavior, or if I should take a more drastic step and call off the wedding altogether. The thought of disappointing everyone gnaws at me, but the thought of losing myself completely terrifies me more. But here's where things took a turn. Emma found out I'd shared our situation on Reddit. I was honestly just looking for some outside perspective, but she felt betrayed. The other night, after I got home from work, I could sense something was off. Emma was sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone with an intensity that made my heart race. I could feel the tension in the air, heavy and unyielding. "Alex," she said, her voice sharp, "how could you do that?" "What do you mean?" I asked, trying to play it cool, but I felt a knot forming in my stomach. "You're airing our dirty laundry for strangers to judge us. I thought we were a team." Her eyes were blazing, and I could tell she was genuinely hurt. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding. "I just wanted to talk to someone who might understand, Emma. I don't know how to handle this." My voice was softer now, more vulnerable. Her expression didn't soften. "You should have talked to me instead of strangers. Do you even care about this wedding?" That's when it hit me. Her reaction was so intense, so controlling that it left me reeling. I realized that she wasn't just upset about my post. She was scared of losing control over the narrative of our lives. I felt like I was being cornered, and it was a punch to the gut. After a moment, I said, "I do care, but I need to figure out if this is what I really want." The words hung in the air, and for a split second I thought she might back down. Instead, her eyes narrowed. "Are you saying you want to call off the wedding?" she snapped, her voice rising. "No, I'm saying I need to talk about how we're doing this. I feel like I'm losing myself, Emma. It's not just about the wedding, it's about us." Her reaction was immediate. "You're being dramatic, Alex. This is supposed to be a happy time, and you're making it all about you." I could feel my frustration bubbling up. "It is about me, it's about us. If we're going to spend our lives together, we need to be a team, not just you making all the choices." That conversation spiraled quickly, filled with accusations and misunderstandings. In the end, we both walked away feeling wounded, and I was left grappling with my emotions. It felt like a wall had gone up between us, and I couldn't shake the feeling that things were shifting in a way I couldn't control. In the days that followed, I've been gathering evidence of her actions, like the times she interrupted me or questioned my abilities. I started keeping a journal, noting specific incidents and my feelings about them. It's tough, though, because interspersed with these moments of tension are the good times we've shared. I can't help but remember the laughter, the quiet evenings, and the dreams we used to share. It creates this complex emotional landscape where I feel both love and frustration. I know I need to confront Emma about her behavior, but the logistics of it all are daunting. I worry about how she'll react, especially considering how defensive she was about the Reddit post. Jamie insists I need to be firm and direct when I do. "You can't let her keep getting away with this, Alex. You need to show her you won't be silenced," Jamie advised, and they're right. But what if it leads to a bigger fallout? There's so much at stake, and I feel like I'm walking a tightrope. I'm also aware of how my decision might affect my relationships with friends and family. What will they think if I call off the wedding? The thought of disappointing them makes my stomach twist. Reddit, I'm still grappling with all of this. I want to prioritize my well-being, but I'm terrified of what that might mean for my future with Emma. Some of you suggested seeking professional help to navigate these complexities, and I think that might be a good idea. Thanks for listening, and I'll keep you updated as things progress. I really appreciate all the support and insights. It's helping me more than you know. Update 2. First off, thank you for all the supportive comments and insights. A lot of you resonated with my fears, and I've taken your advice to heart. It's been a whirlwind since my last update, and I'm feeling a mix of anxiety and determination as I work through this mess with Emma. Let me share what's been happening. After the confrontation about my Reddit post, things felt different between us. I could sense a shift, like the air was charged with unspoken tension. Emma was quieter, more reserved, and while I hoped it might lead to some self-reflection on her part, it felt more like she was preparing for battle. I found myself constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of when her next outburst might come. I decided to take Jamie's advice seriously. I began keeping a detailed journal of everything, documenting instances where Emma's controlling behavior affected me. I noted the times she interrupted me, dismissed my opinions, or questioned my abilities. "You can't handle that," she'd often say as I worked on projects around the house, her tone laced with condescension. It stung, and each comment chipped away at my self-esteem. One evening, as I sat at the kitchen table pouring my thoughts onto the pages, Emma walked in. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice sharp. "Just writing," I replied, trying to keep my tone light, but I could feel the tension radiating from her. "Writing what? Another post for your Reddit friends," she shot back, crossing her arms defensively. I could see the anger simmering just below the surface. "No, it's just for me," I said, feeling my heart race. "I'm trying to sort through my thoughts about everything." "I don't understand why you need to talk to strangers about our relationship instead of talking to me," she said, her frustration evident. "It's like you don't even trust me." I took a deep breath, trying to muster the courage to express how I felt. "It's not about trust, Emma. It's about trying to understand what's going on between us. I feel like I'm losing my voice, and I need to find it again." Emma's expression softened for a moment, but then she quickly masked it with a frown. "Well, if you feel that way, maybe you should think about what you really want." With that, she stormed out of the room, leaving me feeling more isolated than ever. Over the next few days, I continued to gather evidence, both to prepare for a confrontation and to help me make sense of my feelings. I spoke with Jamie again, who encouraged me to be firm during the confrontation. "You can't let her keep getting away with this, Alex. You need to show her you won't be silenced," they urged, their voice steady and unwavering. "But you also need to be prepared for how she'll react. It might not go the way you hope." That advice echoed in my mind as I faced mounting pressure from my family and friends about the wedding. They would ask, "When's the big day?" or "How's the planning going?" Each question felt like a weight on my shoulders, tightening the noose of expectation. They had no idea about the internal battle I was fighting, and I struggled to keep my emotions in check. One night I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was on the edge of something monumental. The wedding date was fast approaching, and while I felt the urgency to confront Emma, I was terrified of what that might mean. What if it blew up? What if I lost everything? Then, a shocking incident occurred that sent my anxiety spiraling. I discovered that Emma had been interfering with my work emails. I had noticed some messages missing, important ones from friends and colleagues, and it dawned on me that she had deleted or hidden them. I felt my heart sink as I pieced it together, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I confronted her about it later that night. "Emma, why are my emails disappearing? I need those for work." "Maybe you should pay better attention," she replied, her tone dismissive. "I thought you were too busy with your little projects to notice." "Busy? I'm trying to keep my job and deal with all this wedding planning. Why would you do that?" I felt the frustration bubbling over, and I was surprised by my own intensity. "Because it seemed like you were distracted," she shot back, her eyes flashing. "You don't want to be a husband, Alex. You want to be a child playing with toys." That hurt. I didn't know how to respond, so I just walked away, feeling crushed. It was evident that her controlling nature was deeper than I had realized, and it left me feeling hurt and confused. In the midst of this chaos, I've still been trying to find clarity. I've been reflecting on the good moments we've shared, but each memory is now tainted by the realization of how much control she exerts over our lives. It's a confusing mix of love and frustration, and I'm left grappling with feelings I never expected to have about someone I'm supposed to marry. As I prepare for the confrontation, I'm trying to steel myself for the possibility of losing everything. I recognize that I have to prioritize my well-being, but the thought of facing Emma fills me with dread. I've also considered seeking professional help to navigate these complexities, and I think that might be a good idea. Thank you all for listening and for your support. Your insights are helping me more than you know. I'll keep you updated as I try to sort through this mess. Update 3. Thank you all for your support and encouragement throughout this journey. Your comments have helped me navigate some incredibly tough moments. I've spent the past week preparing for the confrontation with Emma, and I finally found the courage to address everything that's been weighing on my mind. The stakes felt higher than ever, and I knew I couldn't avoid it any longer. The day of the confrontation arrived unexpectedly. It was a family gathering, a casual barbecue at my parents' house. The atmosphere was light, filled with laughter and the smell of grilled food, but I could feel the tension coiling within me. My family was excited to see us together, and I knew I had to be careful about how I approached Emma. I didn't want to air our issues in front of everyone, but I also knew this was my chance to have a real conversation without distractions. As the afternoon wore on, I realized I couldn't wait any longer. I pulled Emma aside, away from the crowd. "Hey, can we talk for a minute?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked at me, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension in her eyes. "What's up?" "I think we need to talk about us," I said, feeling my heart race. "I can't keep pretending everything is fine when it's not." "Not here, Alex," she replied, her tone sharp. "This is supposed to be a nice day." "I know, but I can't do this anymore," I pressed, desperation creeping into my voice. "I feel like I'm losing myself in this relationship. You've been controlling, and I need you to understand how it's affecting me." Emma's expression shifted. "Controlling? Really? You're exaggerating." Her voice rose slightly, drawing attention from the nearby family members. "No, I'm not," I insisted, my frustration bubbling over. "I've documented the times you've interrupted me, dismissed my opinions, and even deleted my work emails. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around you, and it's suffocating." She crossed her arms, defensive. "I'm just trying to help." "You're not good at handling everything on your own. Help or control, there's a difference, Emma." I felt the heat rising in my cheeks, my heart pounding in my chest. "I love you, but I can't sacrifice my identity for this relationship. I need you to see how your actions affect me." For a moment, her expression softened, and I thought I might reach her. "I just want everything to be perfect," she said, her voice quieter now. "I thought if I took charge, it would help us." "Perfection isn't what I'm asking for," I replied, trying to keep my voice calm. "I just want to be heard and respected. If we're going to make this work, we need to be a team. I want us to share our dreams together, not have you dictate how everything should be." Emma looked away, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "You're right about one thing," she finally said, her voice trembling. "I've been scared that I'm not enough for you, that I'll lose you to someone better, so I thought if I could control things, it would keep us safe." Her admission hit me like a ton of bricks. I felt a rush of empathy for her struggles, but it also complicated everything. "Emma, I care about you, but controlling me isn't the answer. We both deserve to feel secure in this relationship without fear of losing ourselves." Tension hung thick in the air, and I could see the conflict flickering in her eyes. "I didn't realize it was affecting you this much," she whispered, her voice cracking. "I thought I was doing what was best for us." "I know you meant well, but it doesn't change the fact that I need my independence. I need to know that I can be myself and still be loved," I said, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on us. Just then, a few family members wandered over, drawn by the tension. My sister, noticing our serious expressions, asked, "Is everything okay?" Emma quickly wiped away a tear. "Yeah, just a little disagreement," she said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I forced a smile too, but inside I felt like I was teetering on the edge of a cliff. My heart raced as I realized I had to make a decision about our future. I knew I couldn't ignore the signs anymore. Emma needed to understand that love isn't about control, it's about trust and respect. Later that evening, as the barbecue wound down, I took a deep breath and decided to address the situation once and for all. "Emma, I think we need to take a break from wedding planning," I said, my voice steady but soft. "I love you, but if we're going to move forward, we need to work on ourselves first." Her face fell and I could see the shock register in her eyes. A break? Are you serious? Yeah, I think it's necessary. I need time to reflect on what I want and whether I can see a future where I can be myself without feeling controlled, I replied, my heart pounding. Silence enveloped us as she processed my words. I could feel my family watching from a distance, unsure of what was unfolding. I don't want to lose you, Alex. But I see now that I have to change, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't want to lose you either, but I can't keep going like this, I said, feeling a mix of sadness and relief. Let's take the time we need to figure this out. As we stood there, the weight of our conversation hung heavy in the air. I could see the vulnerability in her eyes, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was the turning point we both needed, a chance to rebuild our relationship on a foundation of trust, respect, and mutual understanding. I walked away from the barbecue that night feeling a strange sense of empowerment. I knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was finally taking control of my own narrative. I realized that love should not come with control. It should be a partnership that allows both people to thrive as individuals. Thank you all for your support and encouragement throughout this journey. I'll keep you updated as I navigate this new chapter in my life.